Hey, how's it going? So I've been noticing something online on YouTube, and I started noticing it because of one of my moderators, Reckless Abandon. Thanks, Reckless. He sent me a video of a guy called Lao Wei, 86, I think his name. He's like this guy who lived in China for like 10 years, and he's come back to the West. And he just posts videos that talk shit about the Chinese and the Communist Party and stuff like that, right? And so he released a video yesterday, basically saying that this talk about de-dollarization is Chinese Communist Party propaganda. And you know, he went into like stuff like the people talking about de-dollarization and world trade are just being paid by the Chinese Communist Party. And if that's the case, you know, I want to see some of my money, my yuan, because I've been talking about de-dollarization, and the Chinese Communist Party has not been sending me any money. I'll tell you that right now. Look, and by the way, this video that this guy posted, in less than a day, in something like 15 hours or something, it had over 170,000 views. And, you know, the guy in his video, he's talking how de-dollarization is not happening and that everything is wonderful and it's just Chinese propaganda. And it's bullshit. Because de-dollarization is happening. Everybody in the financial world recognizes this. I mean, shit. There have been measurements of the French insofar as their treasury holdings, and they've declined 20% year over year. See, the de-dollarization of global trade and the de-treasurization, to coin a term, that is foreign governments selling treasury bonds and no longer be willing to hold on to them. See, these are the effects of the sanctions that were imposed on Russia, specifically the sequestership of Russian assets, what people commonly refer to as stealing the Russian assets or freezing the Russian assets. Technically, it's called sequestership. And the fact that the Americans did it to the Russians, you know, the rumor, the word, the number that people keep kicking around is 300 billion. I actually suspect it's a lot less, but that's not important for this video. The fact that they sequestered $300 billion of the Russian central bank freaked the shit out of just about every country around the world, because the United States was supposed to provide a financial system and just guard the rules, but not interfere, not use its position to punish its geopolitical opponents. It was supposed to be, insofar as the treasury markets and dollar markets are concerned, it was supposed to be, an honest broker. And now they weaponized it. And that has freaked out a lot of countries, especially those countries that suspect that they're going to be on the Americans' naughty list. This is happening. And what I find interesting is the fact of this guy's video and other videos like it, because I did a cursory search, and a lot of videos that get big numbers are saying that it's all Chinese propaganda. It's not. It's fucking happening. And the point is, see, these videos, they're the propaganda. Because in this guy, Lao Wei's or Lao Wei's or whatever, however you pronounce the guy, in his video, he's basically, outlining how the Chinese Communist Party pays YouTubers and social media influencers to promulgate their line. I haven't gotten any such email, you know? I mean, I wouldn't mind a few $1,000 to say something that I already believe because I know it's true, okay? And I was being facetious. I would never take money from any government. You know, I wouldn't. But in all seriousness, I've never taken a dime from anybody. I've never even had a sponsored video in any of my YouTube channels because I'm too off my rocker for most companies, and let alone governments, to be throwing money my way, because I'll say whatever the fuck comes into my head, right? De-dollarization is happening. De-treasurization is happening. And these videos saying that it's Chinese propaganda, it's not. Those videos are the actual propaganda, because the Americans, especially the financial regulatory agencies and the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve, they are freaking out over this thing. They are completely flipping their wig because they understand how precarious the dollar situation actually is. Dollar-denominated trade has fallen drastically, especially over the last 3 years. Over the last 3 years, global trade, 55% of it, pre-COVID, was in dollars. And right now it stands at 43%. That's a 12% drop in 3 years. It freaks the shit out of them. Why does it freak the shit out of them? Because if there's less trade in dollars, there's less demand for dollars. And if there's less demand for dollars, the dollar weakens, of course, supply and demand. And as the dollar weakens, the purchasing power of the dollar declines, i.e. inflation in the United States. And so the financial regulatory agencies of the federal government of the United States, plus the Treasury Department, first and foremost, and the Federal Reserve, which is the American Central Bank, they would have as a priority spread the notion that the dollar is solid, there's no de-dollarization going on, it's all propaganda. I mean, I hate to speculate about Lao Wei because he speculated about other people, although he didn't mention any names, so I'm not going to mention him and tie him to the fact that the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve are likely paying content creators to spread the lie that de-dollarization is Chinese propaganda. I do certainly know for a fact that YouTube prioritizes anti-China channels like Lao Wei's, like Sarpenza's. He's like a South African guy who lived in China for a while, and now he does exclusively videos shitting on China, and he does extremely well. His videos get hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions of views, just because he's spouting lies about China. Whereas people presenting a realistic portrayal of the global economic situation, let alone China, they don't get a fraction of those views, not even a tenth. Because YouTube is prioritizing those videos. And why? Why do you think? Because the American federal government tells them to, just as the FBI would tell Twitter which accounts to suppress, which tweets to suppress, which information to suppress, such as the Hunter Biden laptop that came out in Twittergate. So you got to understand the situation here, see? And you can't, how can I put this? In the information space that we are currently inhabiting, you are no longer able to just listen to one guy and take him at face value and say, oh, that's the way it probably is. No. You got to look around to a lot of different people. And if you're listening to me exclusively, first of all, you're fucking crazy. And number two, you're a fool. Because you should be listening to a wide gamut of different opinions about these related topics. See, because only by listening to a wide gamut, not a gamut of people who say the same fucking thing in just different video context, but rather people who have radically different views. That's what you should be doing to get a more or less clear sense of where the ship is heading, right? Well, these guys, because they are pushed by the YouTube algorithm, most people view only this bullshit that Lao Wei is pushing insofar as this regards and insofar as other regards as well, If you look at it coldly, just dispassionately, just stand back, right? Insofar as China and the United States is concerned, there should be no point of contention because neither country has something that the other truly wants apart from trade. There isn't any dispute between the two countries. Taiwan, which has been artificially created as this point of contention between the United States and China, Taiwan is historically China. The people in Taiwan feel Chinese and they want reunification. They don't want American-style, democracy and freedom. No, they want eventual reunification. And the proof is in the polling and the political parties that are dominant. I forget the name of the party offhand, but the political party that is currently in opposition, which wants unification, it currently is polling better than the current regime. the current regime that is supported by the American warmongers. There is no real reason for a conflict between the United States and China, except for the hubris of the Washington warmongers who see America's dominant hegemonic position rapidly deteriorating diplomatically, rapidly deteriorating militarily, shocker, and rapidly deteriorating financially and economically. The de-dollarization process, which started because of the Washington warmongers' desire to break the Russian economy and just blew up in their faces, this is happening. And anybody who says to you that it's propaganda, that it's not really happening, go to any financial blog, any serious financial blog. You can look at Mish Talk. You can look at Naked Capitalism. You can look at Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge, a lot of people say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory and bullshit like that. Yeah, but a lot of times the articles that they post are from mainstream sources. And those mainstream sources, Bloomberg, AP, all the rest of them, they are saying that de-dollarization is happening. And it's happening rapidly. The way people go bankrupt, people are talking about it. The way people go bankrupt is real simple. First slowly, then really fast. The United States is going bankrupt. It was able to use its dollar position that was necessary for global trade for all these decades. It was able to use that position to get into over-indebtedness, to pay for its expenses without generating the revenue to actually pay for these expenses, i.e. they use the national credit card. And now the bill is coming home, to roost. Forgive me for mixing my metaphors, but you see what I'm saying. And so there is a vested interest in people like the Treasury Department, people like the Federal Reserve, people like YouTube, to be pushing this false narrative that de-dollarization is propaganda. Don't believe it. Understand what's going on.